Hey guys, so today what I'm going to do for you is just a basic run-of-the-mill acrylic pour. I've had a lot of questions about how I do this, especially because I tend to only use acrylic pours as backgrounds for my paintings. So what I'm going for is not really necessarily perfection. I really just want some interesting colors, interesting designs, that type of thing. It doesn't have to be anything crazy amazing, because eventually I'm going to end up incorporating a lot of collage and layers of resin and more paintings on top. So I'm really just looking for some bold colors and some nice designs for that background, and anything I hate I can easily cover up later on with all of my watercolor and Prismacolor images that I like to include in my work. So what I've got here are my paints. I'm really interested right now in doing more of a primary color sort of pour, especially for my dirty cups. So I've obviously got a much bigger container of white, and then I have my red, blue, yellow, black. Now everybody does this differently. A lot of people like to spend a good deal of money on their paints. I don't. I get the cheapest stuff I can get. I get, the Hobby Lobby sales when it's 70% off, and the Michaels sales. I buy Liquitex. I get the beginner's paints. My favorite way to get paint, though, is definitely going to Home Depot and purchasing one of those giant cans of, Oops paints. So that's great. You just have to be really careful about that, because if you end up getting a really good quality interior paint, like with paint and primer included in one, that is not going to work out so well. It's just too thick of a mixture, and I find that it tends to crack. So we're going to avoid that today. We're just going to work with our Liquitex paints, red, blue, yellow, black, and white. And I don't really have a system for how I do this. I kind of just go with however I feel for the day. So I'm going to add some white. I always like white to be the last color that comes out. And then I'm going to start adding my colors, and it's just pretty much whatever I want. Actually, I think I'm going to go with black next, because I really like the way that the black and the white mix together. See, even in the cup, it just starts to get this really cool, funky effect. I really enjoy that. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to add a little bit of blue. And this is just random. I just want all those colors in there. It's not necessarily about a system. I just really like to have a lot. And I'm going to just add a little bit of black. Black might be a bit too thick, oops, but we're going to go with it. Okay, so here is my dirty cup with all of my colors plus my black and white, and I've layered it. So what I like to do, everybody does it differently. I like to get my canvas, stick it on top wherever I want to begin, flip it over. I'm just doing that flip, okay? And then I just like to put maybe a little bit of white around the edge, just to really make sure that we've got, it'll be easier to move. Then while that's kind of working its way around, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. I'm going to cut a hole in the top. And I like to let that sit for a second and start to drift. Okay? And I love this. Okay? I really love this. So I like to let it just move around on its own for a little bit. And then when I feel like I'm ready, I can go in, add a little bit of flame, just making sure, very light, because I don't want it to go crazy and then start to, I've had incidents where it starts to actually crack and it ruins the effect, and you end up with this big mess all over your canvas. I don't want that. So then I'm just going to take this, and I'm just going to slowly start kind of maybe allowing a little bit more out in some places, and then I'm just going to take it off. Okay? Now before I move anything, and I don't even know if I want to move because I'm really loving the effect here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take my flame, and I'm just going to very briefly kind of do this, kind of get all of that one more time, and then I'm going to turn that off. And then I'm just going to I want to bring it up for you just so you can kind of see all of that. Look at that. That's awesome. Okay, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shift it around a little. You know what? Honestly, I really love this. I don't think I want to do what I was planning on doing, and that's part of the process, okay? So you might realize, you know what? I don't know if I want to do all of that. I just might want to add a little bit of an outside effect. So here we go. Just going to add a little black to that border. Remember what I was saying about how I really love the effect of the black and the white mixing together? So that's kind of what we're going for here. I really love it when they just start to bleed together along the edge wherever they meet. I think it looks beautiful. So that's what we're going for here. And then you just kind of want to scrape a little bit off the sides. And man, am I hating this lighting in here. Oh my goodness. That glare is just ridiculous. I would do it in bright natural light, but it's so ugly. It's been so ugly for the last few days. And I really wanted to show you guys because I've had a couple of kids or a couple of adults asking about how I get my backgrounds. How do we do it? They want to see a fun video, So there we go. Make sure you've got it all the way around. Okay. All those edges nice and covered. And there we go. And I'm sorry you can't really see the full effect here because of that awful, awful, awful glare. So let me see if I can kind of cover that up just a little bit for you. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. But you can kind of see once that glare is gone, just the amount of detail is really phenomenal. Take these off. Really nice. Loving it. This will be a great background. Really like it. And we'll see what it looks like when it dries, because as you guys know, what it looks like when it's wet, not necessarily what it's going to look like when it's all dry. We never know how it's going to turn out. The most beautiful painting in the world, you might leave it, next day come in, and you're just shocked by how horribly everything ran together. So, all right. That's all I've got for you right now, guys. Have a good day.